Oh, is that it? Are we live? I think we are. Hello, everyone. Well, I'll say everyone, the few that are in the chat room already. Hello, Kenneth. Hello, John. Hello, Stephen. Haha. Am I coming through loud and clear? I hope I am. Otherwise, surely you would have commented and said, where's all the noise? Right. Before we get onto your questions here, someone somewhere left some. I carefully did all my preparation and then lost my mobile phone. Here we go. Incidentally, this phone is a remarkable device. This is what all my videos are filmed on. So this poor phone, it's an Oppo F1S, and it's smashed about and has a very hard life. It has done very well. It will be getting on for 2 years in February. Right, so the questions already asked on the communities tab. One was by M Hatim Jaziri 02. What is the best car that you have ever driven in your life? Which is the worst question in the world to answer, because how do you pick just one? I mean, the E-Type V12 with fuel injection I drove the other week for Classic Jaguar magazine was astonishing. The noise was just formidable. But I prefer cars with no power, so a Daewoo is better in some ways. My brain really can't make sense of that, so I don't know what my favorite is. The other question is, you have one car, one person, one place to share the rest of your life with. Well, you know, Ellie the 2CV, my wife, and Wales will do very nicely. Right, so that's it of the pre-asked questions. The chat screen is zipping by already, blimey. Let's go right back to the start, because John Bradley asked, are you originally from the Black Country? Sort of. I was born in Birmingham, spent the first 10 years of my life growing up in Bearwood in the metropolitan borough of Sandwell, which does indeed count as the Black Country, I believe. So Kenneth says 20,000 subscribers, woohoo. And yes, that's kind of why I'm here. 20,000 subscribers is frankly amazing. And look how many of you are already in the chat. It's quite remarkable. 158 people now tuned in. That's insane. So yeah, in April, the channel hit 10,000 subscribers, and I was like, wow, that's quite an achievement. And now we're up to 20,000. It's yeah, it's utterly insane. And I can only say thank you very much for your support. It has been a remarkable journey. Sorry, I shouldn't say the journey word. I've been watching too much Strictly Come Dancing. For that, I do not apologize. Let's scroll down and see if anyone else. So, any cars planned to buy next year on your wish list? I'm quite desperate to own a Citroen Ami, but the problem with the Ami is 2CV based, and I'm worried that if I get another 2CV, I then won't use Ellie effectively. So maybe I'll get a Citroen GSA. That's been a very long dream. Any other questions? Have I missed anything? No, don't worry, Mark Pitt. You haven't missed anything, really. Just me whittering on as usual. Congrats on 20,000 subs from Daniel Addison. Thank you very much. Still enjoying the Skoda? Yes. When will you be getting an 850 T5? That'll be Carl, who's clearly a Volvo fan. I really would like a Volvo 850, but probably not a T5. I think I'd probably enjoy the turbo diesel more. But trying to find a turbo diesel that hasn't been to the moon and back in terms of mileage, yeah, difficult. I really should have got a mouse so I don't have to lean so close to the computer. Leave the Skoda pink? No. We have plans. What was the worst one? Is that the worst car ever? Worst car I've owned? Worst car I've driven? Worst car I've driven. It's a really difficult one to say because obviously pre-war cars tend to be a bit terrifying. I once drove, I think it was a 1931 Morris Oxford Empire Saloon, and it was a 6-cylinder and it barely moved. It was a reminder of just how far cars have come. And what I discovered as I hurtled downhill towards a set of traffic lights is that it had a freewheel. So really poor brakes and a freewheel. That was a scary journey. I can't say I really enjoyed that car, but I've driven other pre-war cars and thought they were fabulous. Austin 7s are always slightly terrifying, but fun in equal measure. Rover versus Austin Metro. Well, again, that's difficult because both have very different appeal, but I think I'm a purist. It'd have to be an Austin. 1.3 HLS, a car I used to own. You've put Elf on pause. Oh, thank you, Mark. Have you cut your beard? Yeah, I do from time to time. It isn't as long as it used to be. I even had to amend the artwork. When my mate Brian first did this Hubnut Petrol Head, it was a much longer beard, but I don't have a longer beard. So look, I'm trying to match my own merchandise. Thoughts on Classic Mini from Alan Dixon? Yeah, we used to have one. Rachel's daily driver was a Mini 1984 City E, and she absolutely loved it, and she still goes on about it now. But the problem was it was just dissolving, and I hadn't discovered decent rust proofing back then. Maybe things would be different now. Problem being that Mini values have gone up and up and up, and I don't think we could afford a Mini now. But yeah, I mean, Rachel was very happy with it. She absolutely loved it. I didn't find it the most comfortable vehicle, if I'm honest. The suspension was very bouncy. Maybe should have put a set of dampers on it. Yeah, the seats left a bit to be desired. But for bombing around the hills of Wales, it was insane. I mean, I could have tourists following me down the straights as soon as we got to the bends. That doesn't really work at that refresh speed. But yeah, we'd zip through the bends and leave the tourists way behind. Great fun. When you get some pennies, you'll get a jumper, says Tom Stokes. We haven't got jumpers. We've only got T-shirts. We didn't think that one through, really, did we? I've been thinking about getting hoodies made, but hoodies are quite bulky, and I think, A, storing them in our house, which is already crowded with T-shirts and mugs, would be difficult. And B, I've forgotten what the point was. What was I on about? I'm too busy trying to read the questions. But yeah, that would be a nightmare to send out hoodies, but maybe one day. Would you self-wrap the Skoda? No, that'd be a disaster. I can't even fit stickers. Most hateful car you've ever driven? Well, the Isuzu Trooper Mark 1 was pretty bad. I mean, that wasn't a car you could enjoy driving. What's the fastest my 2CV has been? SatNav confirmed 70, I think, is the most I've done in my 2CV. Maybe a few more than that. I'm still running the engine in with its 652 conversion, so she should go a bit better. But of course, I haven't changed the gearing, so I'm not convinced she'll be all that much faster. We'll see. Ever gone for an air-cooled Volkswagen? No, values have always been far too high. Why did you get rid of the LS400? Because it was too big, mostly, and I just felt like an idiot driving around in this enormous barge. It was not a car well suited to Welsh roads. Can we have a Christmas video? There will be an end of year video. I did one last year from inside Took before she was back on the road. So yeah, that will happen. What have you asked Santa for? Christmas is sneaking up on me. I mean, that's pretty much the extent of our Christmas decoration. Is some tinsel on a wall, unpainted, in our lounge, because we still haven't finished the decorating of the house since having the insulation project done. Yeah. I'm not sure what I want from Santa. We're going to go and see family, both sort of families, so that's going to be nice. That'll do. We love your love for the ordinary cars. Oh, thank you very much, Jonathan. 20,000 subs. Yeah, amazing. 150. I've forgotten what the 150 relates to. A Lancia Epsilon. Ooh, if that's how you pronounce it. I'm not very good at. Is it Latin? No, it's Greek, isn't it? Greek is what all the Lancia models were. Yeah. 20,000. Congratulations. Meow. You can say meow, but I don't know where George is. The underfloor heating's on in the other end of the house. He's probably down there. Job coming up with Amazon Prime. No, thank you. We have no Amazon in this house. Tinsel looks a bit miserable. That's a good tinsel. We have thrown some lights around a window. But yeah, that is kind of the extent of everything at the moment, because we're still trying to decorate the entire house. There's so much to do. Hello from a wet Selly Oak. Oh, no, Selly Oak is a very interesting place. I don't know how long you've lived in Selly Oak, but I bought Ellie at a place that was tucked away underneath the railway bridge in Selly Oak. It's a part of South Birmingham. Vastly changed since I used to visit. Selly Oak is also where there used to be an Invercar specialist. I don't know if it was the only one for Birmingham or maybe it was the only one for South Birmingham. But yeah, I had planned to go and do a visit around that area in Took, but it didn't quite happen. You are living most of our dreams. Yeah. It's not always dreamy here. I must remind you of that. Oh, the questions have jumped. Where have we gone? Oh, wow, there's loads of questions. Where did these all come from? Oh, dear. I'm way behind on questions. I'm very sorry. How do you go about getting a cheap workshop to do hobby work in? That's really difficult. I haven't got a workshop, so I can't really tell you. I bought a house that had suitable areas for that sort of thing. Skoda Fest at Stamford Hall. Do you know the dates, Matthew? I haven't been to Stamford Hall for ages, but I have friends in the world of Skoda, and who are probably thinking it's about time I blooming got one. Hopefully, maybe Skoda Fest. We'll see. You found a 2CV in Mr. Bean holiday. They get everywhere. Do you have a big memory card for that phone? No. I usually just use the 32 gig memory on this phone, and I have to empty it often. What's up with Took squeaking belts? The squeaking belts, I don't really know. I suspect the pulleys aren't brilliant. Maybe need a clean up. Maybe the tension is wrong because the pulleys are still sticking a bit. I don't know. I need to try and get to the bottom. The main issue I've had is time, but there will be more time next year. What's the body and structure like on Ellie? She's 2 years out of a major restoration. She is bob on. Are you a fan of Musty One? Yes, I've just been watching his latest video. In fact, Hubnut meetup, something I want to do in 2019. How much did it cost to rust-proof your car? Well, clearly you didn't watch the video, Rocky Payne, because I did say £300 is the price of that, and I got a very small discount, for which I'm grateful. That wasn't asked for. That was just applied on the day, because I have been, blagging stuff for product tests and all that, and it doesn't sit easy with me. So I think I'm going to do less of that. The views show you aren't that fussed about me doing product reviews anyway, so I think I'm just going to buy stuff with my own money and talk about it. I think that's a much better idea. Is your aim to be on TV? No, I like this far more than TV. I like it quite a lot. Gosh, it's really difficult to keep up with the questions. Ever driven a Talbot? Yes, you will find Tagora and Horizon videos on my channel, Gary. If you go and have a search, if you just search on Google Hubnut Talbot, you'll get a couple of videos. I'd really like to drive a Talbot Samba because my dad had one when I was a child. Am I doing Festival of the Unexceptional again next year? No, that is a big headline news. Unfortunately, Festival of the Unexceptional 2019 clashes with a huge Citroen Centenary event in France. So we're taking Ellie to France for another adventure. I do like taking the 2CV to France. It's just the best car for driving around France. It's wonderful. Are you glad you bought Took? Asks Marty. Yes. Been brilliant. What am I up to next? I've still got to get Classic Jaguar out of the way, and that's the main aim this week. It's 4 days from print day on that, so lots of work to do, lots of writing. We even did some writing last night, just because I'm not going to meet the deadline otherwise. Lada Niva would love one. They've disappeared. Changing the engine for a motorbike? No. Took is what she is. Any news on the Matiz and Fox? The Matiz is proving problematic. It's still with my friend Chris, and it's got the airbag light on. And unfortunately, the system doesn't self-check. You've got to use a computer to reset it. We can't find anyone who's got the right connector to connect to it to get it working. So I think we're not going to see the Matiz before Christmas. It's just not going to happen, unfortunately. And the Fox, I haven't touched at all. I've been so busy. Ever driven a Suzuki Swift GTI? No, would like to. Have you ever driven a Nissan Prairie? Yes, I like the Nissan Prairie. One of my contributors on Retro Japanese, Eddie Ratley, has owned several Prairies, and he let me drive one. And I thought it was really nice. You think the live tracks drive you crazy? Yeah, imagine what they're doing to me. I can't keep up. Blimey. Do you ever come down to Cornwall? Not very often. I think I did early last year. I went down to see BCC, who make brakes and other car parts down in Cornwall. Any experience of X-Types or Peugeot 306 Cabriolets? No on both. I have driven a very tired X-Type diesel. It was horrible. Can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait to see the Reliant van. It's going to be fun. Bromley Pageant is one event I'm hoping to be at next year, because the people who publish Retro Japanese also run Bromley Pageant. And yeah, I harbour a dream of filling the Fox with merchandise and driving all the way to the Bromley Pageant to say hello to lots of you. I think that should be lots of fun. Do you like motorbikes? Sorry, Keith, I do not like motorbikes. It's not that I hate motorbikes. It's just that if it hasn't got at least 3 wheels and a windscreen wiper, I'm not really interested. Is the Matiz OBD1? Probably. This is one of the problems. I'm just not used to cars that you plug in. So I can't really tell you. Do you think a Scirocco? I know nothing about post-2000 Volkswagens, I'm afraid. Era Vulgaris Quatsa. Is that Queen of the Stone Age? Oh, good choice. Enable slow mode to get the chat under control. I don't even know what slow mode is. How terrible am I? No, I don't know what that is. We shall see. Ooh, I was just reading that and it's just gone. Oh yes, there we go. My Hubnut beanie arrived yesterday. Thanks. Wearing it today, 2 strangers came up to me separately to talk about how they were addicted to your channel too and to talk cars. Wow, that is yeah. It's hard to believe, to be honest, but it has led to this. I mean, I started 2018, and I'll talk more about the things that have happened because it's been a remarkable year. But I certainly didn't think that I would be buying a car in Romania and driving it home, having quite so many adventures in the Invacar, and ended up running a mail order business from home. It's insane. We pack everything. We don't use third-party suppliers. YouTube would far rather I use one of their sister companies or affiliated companies to do all the merchandise. But A, that would put the price up for you. I reckon everything would be at least a $5 or more in terms of T-shirts. And B, we get a much smaller cut. And it's like, well, no, we'd rather do the work and earn the money that way. So, you know, we have spent hours recently packing merchandise in our dining room. The room is just full of boxes, and we really enjoy it, to be honest. It's really nice. So if you've received any merchandise, we have sent it ourselves. Probably best to check the T-shirts for cat hairs, because sometimes George comes and helps. You can't control cats. Oh, this chat's rubbish. It keeps jumping. Where are we going? Look at me in technology. I'm hopeless. You are Jesus of the bangers. I used to work at a company where I was known as Jesus. I don't know why. Community minibus test drive. Yeah, again, hopefully something to do in the new year. I've been nowhere near the community minibuses lately. I think I did one trip out in November, and December I've not been able to do anything because I've been so busy. It's hugely frustrating, to be honest. Would you buy a car from the 60s? I already have Rahman. I've owned a Rover P6, which was a 1966. Very fine car, just ruinously expensive to run because I wasn't very DIY in those days. Good car to replace your 45 Rover. Well, I'd have to say a Skoda Favorit. You have a Rover 200 VI. Excellent. I like the Rover 200 VIs. They're a very subtle Q car, so they're quite potent, but don't look it. Hoping to do a video on one next year. Let's see if that happens. Citroen GS, I would like to do a video on one. I would like to own one. Which car is best for, oh my God, Snow Chaos? 2CV, possibly the Nipper. The Nipper's actually on winter tyres. FSO Polonaise, it isn't going to happen. They're too rare here. Unless I go to Poland and buy one. Never rule it out. I know people who have FSOs, hoping to do some FSO videos next year. Mrs. Hubnut's preferred make of soldering iron. I think we've just got some cheap generic stuff. I was just looking over there because it was sitting on the windowsill for far too long because we never put anything away. Lexus has still since been sold again, and for more than I sold it, but then he did fix the rear suspension. Ever driven a Reliant Robin? Yes, I have driven a Reliant Robin, and I really liked it. Nowhere near as unstable as a certain hairy motoring presenter would have you believe. Crossover with a supercar YouTuber. I want to do that. I did try reaching out to Harry's Garage because I want to do a video on the intricate windscreen wiper mechanism of a Lamborghini Countach, and I thought maybe Harry would let me do that, but I haven't been able to get in touch with Harry, so that hasn't worked really. So if you own a Lamborghini Countach or Diablo, I'd happily take a Diablo or a Ferrari 512 Berlinetta Boxer. Do get in touch. If you watch this channel, you probably don't own those cars, but I would like to do a slow motion video of gorgeous pantograph wipers. Why am I giving up classic Jaguar? Because I do not have enough time for this video channel. That is why. Struggling to keep up with comments, with merchandise, struggling to make the videos even at the moment. So there will be one to mark 20,000 subs because that's amazing. But yeah, it's not going to happen immediately. How did the Nankangs perform in the wet British summer versus decent summer tires? Is that the Nankang all seasons on the Rover? It just gripped. Whatever conditions it gripped. Yeah, I'm aware Harry has been to Morocco. He did that in a Ferrari Testarossa. Maybe I'll do that in the 2CV or the Fox or something. Right. Do I watch Urch-Fab? No, I'm aware I should. Oh, you got a Mitsubishi forklift with a pantograph wiper. Lovely. Do post a video up. Fancy giving a Mark II Cavalier 1.6 GL an honest Hubnut review? Yes. And if you've got a car you'd be interested in me doing a review on, email ian@hubnut.org. But do note my insurance cover is third party only. So you've got to trust me not to crash it. Generally, I try not to crash. And it's a technique which usually works fairly well, but them's the breaks. Also, a lot of people already have emailed me. I've got quite a backlog. So next year is going to be very busy trying to catch up with all of that. Project Binky? Yeah, I greatly admire Project Binky. Which kind of Citroen Ami would you like to get? Asks Ben Day. It's got to be a Citroen Ami 6 Berlin with its slope back rear window. Just fantastic. Oh, Nadolig Llawen, Ken Ross. That's Merry Christmas in Welsh. A Blwyddyn Newydd Dda is Happy New Year in Welsh. MGZR would like to do Vauxhall VX 2300 be suitable for daily use. Yeah, I don't see why not. The only problem is after 1975, they removed the overdrive option. So for motorway work, those Vauxhalls are a bit busy. Far better with an actual overdrive. Have I fixed the chimney? No, the chap was meant to be coming back and putting some sealant on that. He hasn't yet. Hopefully at some point. Would you like to drive my Skoda 120? Yeah. Last rear engine Skoda I drove was from my mate Rob and his wedding. And that was a nice day. I greatly enjoyed that. A convoy of 2 rear engine Skodas. Wonderful. How's sunny Devil's Bridge? It's peeing it down at the moment. Any plans for more EV reviews? Yeah, I'm hoping to do one on the I-Pace next week. Not next week, next year. Which I suppose is getting on for next week, isn't it? Buy a Tatra. Would love a Tatra. Tatras are awesome. I've driven a 603. I've never driven a 613. That'd be fun. Lada Revas are so expensive now. I will never own one. Sunbeam Rapier. Would love to drive a Rapier. It's a scary name in modern context, but yeah, lovely cars. Get a DAF. I think I've got too many air-cooled twin-cylinder vehicles at the moment, and definitely too many belt-drive vehicles as well, as in one. That's enough. I see you were in Burgess Hill. Yes. Any plans to add a Bedford Rascal to the fleet? No, I don't think so. My dad used to have one as a company van when I was a child. I remember we used to run in the back, well, literally run around in the back. The kids would be sat in the back. I'd be holding my sister in her pushchair when we went shopping in it, because I don't think we had a car at the time. Insane. Skoda Octavia. I've got some Octavia plans, so I shall decline that at the moment. Which car would you recommend as the best long-lasting? Well, I'd hope the Fox is pretty long-lasting. It's a galvanized chassis, plastic bodywork. Is Tuck tax exempt? She is. She's MOT exempt as well, but she will still be getting an MOT. The fastest thing I've ever driven, probably a Lola T70 replica with an LS3 V8 in it. That was insane. I drove that in 1 December, and that was quite scary. I learned a lot about oversteer. Do you have a top 10 of cars? I'm not going to try and think of a top 10 now. It would last forever. Datsun 120Y is the car I've not ever driven, and I'm the editor of Retro Japanese magazine. So one thing I definitely need to do next year is drive a 120Y. It needs to happen. A pretty iconic Japanese car of the 1970s that I remember seeing everywhere. Hubnut meetups. I'm hoping to do a Hubnut meetup. We will do that. Yes, I remember Essex. I just haven't been anywhere near. Ever been arrested? Came very close once. I got stopped and searched because of the Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, over concerns regarding a bag of flour, and I still have to stop. It was my first ever community bus run, and I ended up getting stopped by the police, and they were worried because there was a bag of flour on my bus. But because a young lad wanted to make bread, but Towdy cops didn't believe that. They didn't think young men wanted to make bread, but you get people like that out here. Hippiness is a way of life in the Welsh Hills. Why do I get stopped by the police? I've no idea. It's not my fault, I hope. Reliant engines do not last. I think that's a bit unfair. I haven't even tried yet. Citroen AX GT, I don't like AXs. I don't fit in them. I can see questions. The biggest problem is the questions are blasting through at a terrifying rate. In-car radio or not? Generally not for me. I don't listen to radio very often. Where in Northants did you live? We used to live in Byfield, near Daventry. Sound deadening kit on Tuck, that would help. Oh, I can't keep up with this. A whole episode on your top 10 wipers. Again, that's something I really want to do next year. I'm thinking some, soft saxophone music, some slow motion action replays. Be marvelous. Is there a car you wouldn't want to see a Hubnut sticker on? No, not really. You live in Byfield. Amazing. Police must be beardist. Yes. Bus equals fancy wipers. That's very true. I have friends who own buses. There have been videos on buses. Speed upgrade on Tuck. Well, I want to try and improve the engine that's in here. I'm not going to go mad, but yeah, I certainly want to try and have some fun. I need a to-do list. I have a horrible feeling if I wrote down everything I want to do next year, I'll just look at it and go, that's impossible. And that is a real danger. More bus videos? Yeah, I'll see what I can do. I've got lots of friends with buses. I harbour a huge desire to drive an MCW Metro bus, and I'm hoping to achieve that dream next year. I've driven a few buses. I've driven a Leyland Atlantean. I've driven a Daimler Fleetline, also buses of my childhood, and Leyland National and a Volvo B10M. But an MCW Metro bus continues to elude me, and hopefully next year we will do that. Do you have a time frame for when the Fox will be on the road? I'm hoping to really get on with it in January, and yeah, before March would be my hope. Ever driven a Mark 1 Focus? Yeah, they're all right. Can't really say a lot more about them. Macho Rancho, car I would love to do a video on. Do I like turbo engines? Yeah, in the right vehicle. Oldest car I've driven on the road? That's a bit difficult. I have a feeling it's a 1920s Peugeot, but I can't remember the details. I'm not actually very good on pre-war cars. Fairly encyclopedic for the classic car era, post-war, but before that, struggle. You own a Metro bus with an L10 engine. Ooh, we only got them with Gardner 6 LXBs in the Midland. It's in the south. Well, that's all right. I go to the south. I travel a fair bit. Have you ever driven a Renault Dauphine? Yes, I've driven a Renault Dauphine Gordini, of all things, and a 4CV. Lovely cars. What other channels do I watch? This Old Tony, and I see he's got a new video up, so I'm off to watch that straight after this. And yeah, Wintergarten is well worth checking out. He's building a marble machine, and it's insane. Love it. Project Binky, obviously, and a few others. I'm going to have to go now because I just can't keep up with these comments, and I appear to have been talking for 30 minutes, and that's making me need a drink. Oh, Gary Anderson, you've asked the most difficult question. What do you think will be next to go? I have no idea. Something's going to have to go. Otherwise, I can't own more vehicles. Docker Trigger. Yeah, Docker Trigger is worth checking out. Docker Trigger is a friend of mine. He owns a lovely Marina and a lovely Ital van at the moment. The caravan was sold to someone in a classic caravan club and has been restored. And they have been in touch to show me how it's got a new roof and the bathroom's now much better. So that's good. How old is George? About 5. Yeah, well, don't give me any spoilers, Gary, about this old Tony's latest video. I want to watch that. I love this old Tony. He's so funny, and his videos are so well produced in a way mine will never be. My videos are quick and dirty, so not that dirty. Just yeah, there's not much polish with my videos. Polish to Skoda. That, yeah, I have some stuff to do that, and yeah, 30 minutes. There we go. Right, I'm definitely going to go. So thank you so much for all of your comments. And yeah, well, I'm going to have to do another one just to try and catch up. And yeah, I shall. Sorry, I'm just going to deal with that one. I will see you in a future video. Farewell, and thank you for your support. Don't forget, obviously, merchandise is available at hubnut.org if you're so inclined. We're a bit past the international deadlines now for postage. If you're quick, you can still get it for Christmas in the UK. But otherwise, yeah, stay tuned for many more exciting happenings in 2019. I have grand plans, and I can see you all waiting for it. Ooh, wait for it.